All right, we live.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Jen and Ryan Sportscast. We want to talk about basically a recap of the NFL draft for the Birds, just grading how they did, and I thought they did pretty well. I thought there's some things that they could have done better at, but overall, I thought they had a pretty solid draft. Or top, I believe, in my honest opinion. I believe maybe our best pick, probably to steal the draft, is probably Kevon Wallace, which I thought was a very good pick.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking as well. There's been a lot of conflicting opinions and reports about what the Eagles had option-wise in the draft and what they weren't able to do. But let's kind of dive into this draft. And I won't go deep into the Raiders draft. I'll just do the Raiders first round picks, excuse me. And then after the first round, we'll just stick to the Eagles. But starting out in the first round, the Oakland Raiders pick at pick number 12, Henry Ruggs III, excellent pick. Couldn't have had a better outcome, in my opinion.
It could have gone to the Birds. No, I'm just playing.
There's not really much for me to say there. You have a burner. You have an offense out there in Las Vegas. I keep wanting to say Oakland. But you have an offense out there in Las Vegas that's built on ground and pound, just wearing you out with zone run concepts, power run concepts, and then hitting you over the top with play action. And what better player to have for a deep shot from Derek Carr than Henry Ruggs? You got a guy with one of the strongest arms in the league in Derek Carr who can roll out the pocket. And then you have Henry Ruggs, who is just damn near uncoverable, at least speed-wise. So even though he has things he has to work on, like his route running and things of that nature, when you're able to get him off the leash and just send him deep on a 9 route or deep post, then you can really light some people up. So I'm really excited about that pick. And then what do you think about that pick, man?
I thought it was a fantastic pick for the Raiders, man. I thought they really needed a deep threat. I thought, it was their best option, honestly, because they haven't had besides Tyrell, who was it? Tyrell Williams, however, probably not even pronounce it right, but I thought, him and Williams is going to be a great duo, and then you got Josh Jacobs, who are going to pound the ball. So it's, I think it's going to bring a lot of special things to that offense. So, and then, what other receivers did they get any other receivers in the draft? Or was it just Ruggs?
I'm not sure what they did in the second round onward, but Ruggs was the 12th pick, and then he had the 19th pick as well.
Yeah, but that brings a whole different element to their offense. So it's a great pick. As bad as I wanted the Eagles to select them, I'm just glad it went somewhere to where I can know one of my boys can be happy. So I can't be too mad at it.
Yeah. So that was the Raiders' first pick, and then moving on to the next pick in the first round, and that would be Arnett. I'm trying to find his first name real quick.
Was that the one you were kind of like scratching your head at?
Yeah, I just wasn't I knew about Okudah, Jeff Okudah, but I didn't really know much about Damon Arnett from that same secondary. And you can see the analysis here on our Raiders website. Selecting Arnett with the 19th overall pick was a bit of a head scratcher. Think think we were all, at least I was thinking that. Clearly, he was highly prioritized within the Raiders organization. Without them having a second-round pick, forced their hands a little bit. So, to me, this was your classic reach pick because Jeff Okudah was off the board, and then after that, there was no clear consensus on the top cornerbacks in this draft class, and we have a major need at cornerback. Wide receiver, cornerback are two major needs outside of like defensive tackle.
Mm-hmm.
1 second, Chris is about to join in. This is my man from Playmakers. What's going on, Chris? Let's get him on the audio here. Yeah, Chris, get your audio on, and then if you want, you can turn the video on as well.
We got a three-way going in.
So to speak, man. So to speak. What's going on, Chris? Gotta turn your audio on, Playboy. There should be a button that says join in with audio. Yo, Chris, put your hand up if you can hear me. Can't hear me? Let me see. Unmute all. All right, you're unmuted, man. You can't hear me at all? Hold on. Get this guy set up.
Yeah, you get him in here.
Yeah, I gotta make sure his mic is working because it doesn't seem like he can hear me at all. Well, I'm about to just call this. Okay, he's connecting now. All right.
Okay.
Oh, now I can hear you.
There you go.
Bro, I've never used this before.
Welcome to the party, man.
Oh, man. What's up? What's up? What's up?
Yo, Ryan, this is my boy Chris the Cash from Playmakers.
Yo, what's good?
What's going on, man?
Yeah,
Chilling.
figure we talk about the draft, talk about your 49ers as well.
All
What
right.
do you think about your pick? You guys traded back and picked up. I forgot who you guys got. You traded back a spot.
I kind of like the pickup that we got more than the draft pick itself.
Who'd you get?
Ah, you're gonna put me on the spot with this. I can't even think of. Oh my God, we just replaced the guy that got that. Oh my God, I'm just gonna go. Bro, I just feel out of it these last couple of days. There's so much going on right now.
We're gonna look this up. Have no fear, my man. See
Yeah.
what we're able to do with this technology here. I can look up whatever I want.
Okay.
Cause y'all traded with like Tampa Bay or something like that. Yeah, y'all got Kinlaw. So I made a video like a week before the draft, and I talked about Kinlaw just for you in that video, and I thought that was somebody that was on your radar, and sure enough, you got him because you lost, like you said, the ball Solomon.
Yeah, he retired.
No, he's with the Colts or somewhere else.
He went to the Colts?
Yeah, he left in free agency.
Somebody told me he retired.
Maybe he did, but he left though.
Man, I've been so busy with basketball, like I haven't even been able to keep up with football right now.
Oh man, yeah, I saw the video.
I wanted to tune in because I wanted to see what y'all thought about it.
Yeah, I thought it was an excellent pick. Like I said, he was somebody I had on your radar for the 49ers. I thought that because Solomon left, that Kinlaw, and this being a deep draft and defensive tackle, I thought he would have been the perfect replacement. And guys, not only did you get him, but you were able to trade back and get extra picks, which was smart.
Yeah,
definitely.
And so I mean, the Raiders got Ruggs, and then the 49ers went ahead and got Kinlaw. So that was a very strong, like, start to the draft in the top 10 for both of those teams.
So can we say Super Bowl now?
I mean, you guys are right there with it. I mean, yeah. I can't not say Super Bowl, but it's definitely going to be stiffer competition this year.
Oh yeah.
Which brings me to the we got to pick 19 with the Raiders, and it was a hit scratcher because they picked Damon Arnett, who I've never heard of. So Jeff Okudah was the star cornerback in this year's draft, the gem, so to speak, out of Ohio State. That secondary was just locked down, clink, shut down. But I never really heard of Damon Arnett, and I feel as though the Raiders kind of reached on this because we didn't have a second-round pick, and they just felt as though we need a cornerback. We have to take the best guy now before there's a run on cornerbacks, which happened later in the first round. And I just think this guy was a reach, and it was kind of a head-scratcher. They could have picked there was the linebacker queen from LSU or Murray from Oklahoma. There were better players that we could pick. And I think the Eagles kind of made a little bit of a reach on their pick, just like the Raiders did at 19, which brings me into pick 21 with the Eagles. And we picked not CeeDee Lamb. We picked Jalen Reagor. CeeDee Lamb went to the freaking Cowgirls. And that's all people have been talking about on Sports Talk Radio, on ESPN. People's moms and pops, their brothers and sisters, they're just like, how did we not draft CeeDee Lamb? So the Eagles go ahead and get Jalen Reagor out of TCU with the 21st pick in the NFL draft. And pretty much like the summary I have for him is Henry Ruggs light. He brings a similar level of speed, but the route running ability is a little less than what Ruggs brings, which his isn't phenomenal either, but Reagor has to work on that. He has some drop issues. Was it his hands or was it the atrocious quarterback play that led to the lack of production last year? That's another question.
Maybe that's what they're hoping.
Maybe. So like his stock kind of took a hit pre-draft because he ran like a 4.47 at the combine. And his whole game is built around the speed. So when he came in running a 4.47, people were like, what the hell? So apparently he put on like 10 pounds of muscle before the combine, and that's why he ran slower. Because, I mean, even the year before, the dude ran like a 4.29. If you turn the tape on, the guy looks like he's moving in hyperspeed. So, I mean, he's obviously a lot faster than that timed run. That being said, I don't understand how the Eagles or why they wouldn't trade up for a guy like CeeDee Lamb when he fell so far in the draft. Like Jerry Jeudy and CeeDee Lamb, they were dropping like stones, and all of a sudden it's like the Cowboys and the Eagles, I mean, they're sitting there right there for him. And if I was the Cowboys, I would have done the same thing. Like, I'm not sending him to Philly. No, they need a receiver, and we're going to send him like the next Jerry Rice or whoever. Like, why would they do that? Like, I'd rather just take the guy and block the team I hate the most.
Not just that, it's an added asset. It's an asset, you know what I mean? Like, you could eventually, all right, we can get rid of somebody.
I was think to that point, like you said, that could be Amari Cooper could be gone in 4 years and his contract's replaced with CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah, it's I was very frustrated when they picked him because it's like a big slap in the face. Because I remember Stan, we were on the podcast, and I was telling you, I was like, "Wow, the Cowboys are about to get CeeDee Lamb." I just had that feeling.
Yeah,
you know, it was very disappointing. It's like, you know, like you say, you have him up there pretty and shiny right there for you to grab, like only a couple spots, and you don't move up and you allow the Cowboys to grab him. I mean, the Eagles had to have some type of feeling the Cowboys were going to grab him. Like, look out through the years. Like, Dallas Goedert, we yanked him, you know, from a couple when the Cowboys were a couple spots away from grabbing him. Like, it's the rivalry thing, so it's not surprising to me at all. But hey, it is what it is. Got to live with it. You know, we'll see what happens. Hopefully, you know, I ain't gonna lie though, the Dallas offense kind of scary looking right now.
I know. You got Amari Cooper, you got CeeDee Lamb, then you have Michael Gallup.
Like,
and then you have Zeke. You think that those weapons aren't going to help them off the play action game?
It's gonna be ridiculous.
It'll be rough, man. Which kind of leads me into the second round with the Eagles, and they go ahead and take Jalen Hurts out of Oklahoma, a quarterback, not a running back, not a cornerback, not a wide receiver. They take a quarterback in the second round. You read this right here, right? They just gave Wentz a 4-year, $128 million extension. I mean, this kid threw for 32 touchdowns last year and ran for 1,300 yards and another 20 touchdowns on the ground. I mean, you don't draft a quarterback this high. I mean, he's not going to – I don't think there's going to be a quarterback controversy, but you had so many other needs. why there's no excuse. If this was the guy you're going to take with the second round pick, right? Why couldn't you have just used that pick to move up and get CeeDee Lamb? Like, don't try to feed me that bull crap, man. Like, come on, dog.
Are you really confident at the quarterback situation?
Oh, 100%. I'm just saying, like, they would have been fine getting a guy in the third round. He didn't have to be an exceptional quarterback. You develop a guy.
You're right about that. I agree with that. But I'm asking you as a fan, are you comfortable with the Eagles quarterback situation?
I'm absolutely confident, which is why I'm mad that they didn't spend that pick on another guy or use that pick to go up to get CeeDee Lamb. It's like, we got our guy. Like, you supposed to put people around this nigga. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's a concern.
And I'm telling you, like, sports talk radio in Philadelphia is on fire right now. Ray Didinger, Hall of Fame sports writer, called in, and he's just like, I don't understand it. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. I hate the pick. The Rager pick didn't make sense to me. The Jalen Hurts pick didn't make sense to me. How CeeDee Lamb was sitting there and you didn't get him is beyond me. Brian Baldinger, just the wealth of knowledge this guy has breaking down film, and he just called in, I think, to the Angelo Cataldi show, and he was just like, or it might have been Mike and Ike, whatever, and he was just like, I don't get it. How? Why? Really?
Yeah, it's. I didn't get it either. I was kind of scratching my head. You know, my buddy. I was talking to my buddy Bill about it, and he didn't hate it because, you know, it gives us a very good option at the backup position. But at the same time, it's like you pick someone who is not a starter. Like you said, we could have drafted a linebacker. We could have drafted. I mean, Denzel Mims was sitting there on the board too. We could have got him. Like, you know, there's so many better options that we could have grabbed.
Because let's be honest, do we all think that Alshon Jeffrey is going to be here next year, or he might even be cut this summer? Right? We don't know.
We don't fully know. Yeah,
Wouldn't it
really cut?
Wouldn't it have made more sense to draft Denzel Mims and have Jalen Reagor?
Yeah, both two different type of receivers.
Replace Deshaun Jackson and Alshon Jeffrey moving forward. And at least you have at least 1 year of Mims, Jalen Reagor, and Deshaun Jackson before Deshaun moves on 2 or 3 years from now. Like, why wouldn't you just do that?
Yeah, it'd been a smart pick. It would have been a lot better than drafting friggin' Jalen Hurts, in my opinion.
And it's not just like people like me, you, and Chris sitting here asking that question. It's people that are deep in the league behind the scenes that are just scratching their heads. Like, there's word that a lot of GMs around the league are just like looking at how, like, yo, what are you doing, dog? Like,
yeah.
I'm not saying that Jalen Reagor was a bad pick or that Jalen Hurts was a bad pick. Or maybe the Eagles just like people with the first name Jalen Mills.
Yeah.
Who knows? But it's like, you could have got those guys a little later in the draft. Why did you take them here? And why didn't you go up and get a guy like CeeDee Lamb, man? I'm not saying I know he's going to be Jerry Rice, but if you knew that he was going to be Jerry Rice, sorry, but forget Jalen Hurts. Get Jerry Rice, man.
Yeah, I hate to say it. Like, I hate to say it, but he's definitely – CeeDee Lamb's a generational talent. Let's not avoid that because he's going to be good. I hate to say it, and it kills me to say it in my heart that he's going to be good. Like, he really is. He's a special talent. And, you know, I saw the route running capability, everything. Like, he's probably the second best receiver in the draft next to Jerry Jeudy, in my opinion.
And I'm gonna circle back around to the 49ers, Chris. They didn't make this complicated. They didn't overthink themselves. They traded back one slot because they were like, you know what, Tampa Bay or whoever they traded, they're like, go ahead, get your offensive tackle. We're gonna trade back one slot and get this dude Kinlaw that's been slipping down the draft. You're gonna put Kinlaw with Bosa and them boys? Like,
still get the person you want. That's the name of the game, to be smart.
Like, that's smart drafting.
Yeah, man.
I'm not saying the Eagles didn't get one of the guys they wanted, but they didn't maximize their assets. That's
Yeah, no, if you can
Yeah.
trade down and get the same person,
yeah,
why not?
right.
Agreed.
I don't know. I don't know. So the real reason I wanted your thoughts like about what's going on. How do you feel like about football starting?
Hmm.
Mm. What's your
My-
thought, man?
I think honestly, at the rate it's going, I think it's going to be delayed. I think there is going to be a slight delay. I hope not, but realistically, there's a good chance it's going to get delayed.
That's what I think. I don't think there'll be OTAs are out the window. There might be a training camp might be pushed back a little bit, but I think they'll have training camp maybe sometime in late August, and the season might start maybe I don't know a month later, something like that. That's my feeling.
I mean, but
Yeah,
think about it. Football players around this time they're starting to get ready to start training, start getting back in. You know what I mean? Like even if it's just the OTAs,
Yeah,
like this is time that they start preparing for the season.
I don't think
yeah.
it will be any different than the what it was it the 2012 lockout season or whatever year there was the lockout where there was a shortened off season and everybody came back not knowing how to tackle because they didn't have long enough training camp. I think it'll be something like that.
Yeah, it's going to be sloppy. I can see it being a real slop fest in the beginning, to be honest.
But the
Yeah.
important part will be that it does start. Period.
Yeah, it's absolutely important. I need my football, man. I
Now
can't
that
go with.
being said, let's segue quickly to the NBA because it's funny you bring that up, Chris. Because I think that the NBA, I wouldn't be surprised if they started back up. And I know I think I mentioned this yesterday to you that the China they're playing basketball games over
Yeah.
there
Yeah.
and
I've been watching.
they're separating the fans from the players with like barriers. So
Yep.
they're not having to play in empty stadiums. They're still getting their games in. So I wouldn't be surprised if when they convene, all these commissioners convene with POTUS probably sometime next week that the NBA won't push to try to start back up in beginning of June or something like that, as long as guys aren't testing positive.
See, but the problem with that is, it's a state to state thing right now.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, well, I think they said you can start practicing Friday in certain states, like Atlanta's going to be able to go to their facility, but only one player is going to be allowed in the facility at a time, like actually shooting jump shots on the court. The other one, like you know what I mean? Like you have to be separated from everybody. So you
Yeah.
could be in the workout room and somebody else could be shooting, but you're not even going back. But now I was watching Nick Anderson, and he was saying it's bad because think about it, a team like the Knicks, who really need all the practice they can get, ain't, they're not gonna be able to go to the gym. Meanwhile, you got teams like the Hawks, you got teams like the Warriors. I think they said certain teams are gonna be allowed to go, and other teams are gonna be stuck at home.
Yeah, see that I don't know how the logistics are going to be worked out. If they're able to pull it off or if they're not able to. But I think I mentioned this before. You have to look at some of these states where the frequency of cases has been relatively low, like Wyoming, or that's the main one state I can think of, where they
Yeah, I
have
mean,
all these empty facilities where people can go and practice and be isolated because there's not the population there density is really low in a state like Wyoming or Colorado for
that could be an option. Move the Brooklyn Nets to Wyoming.
yeah. I mean, so you guys gonna be the Wyoming Nets or the Cheyenne Nets? Or,
I mean, at this point, I'll take it.
yeah, yeah.
You know, I just want football and basketball to start back up. Like this has been overall really weird.
Yeah, yeah, I know, man. I know. I'm really. I think football will be back. I'm just really hoping that basketball will as well because, quick segue over to the Sixers. There was a report that came out that Ben Simmons' back is pretty much cool right now. So whatever issues he was having, maybe if the season had kept going, maybe he wouldn't have been available for the playoffs. But now, if the season were to resume, him and Embiid are 100%. So I mean, and for the Nets, that might give Kyrie Irving enough time to be able to make a playoff run where he would have been done with the shoulder.
Here goes the X factor and all that. If you wait long enough, you could get Durant back.
Exactly. You know what I
Now,
mean?
do you do it? Like, do you like? I think they said Clay and Durant would probably be if it gets stretched out to like July.
Yeah.
There's a good chance they could play.
And you know, like how that would completely change the whole playoff scenario in a
And that's
way
what
we did not see 3 months ago.
That's all I'm gonna take is you could go in with Durant as a 7 seed and possibly shock a couple teams.
Yep.
I can see that.
And not only that, you would have Kyrie back healthy. He would have enough time from the shoulder injury to recover.
And you also got to take into the X factor with all that to me is nobody's practicing right now. So actually Durant gets an advantage because nobody like he's on the same level as everybody. Nobody's practicing. It's not like the Sixers are going into the playoffs with an 8-game winning streak and everybody's in tune. Nobody's in tune right now.
That's a really interesting point that I hadn't even considered. And that's real true.
I didn't consider it till just now. Like think about it. Like he's getting better, but all the team chemistry that every team has built is slow. It's gone.
Not true because Tobias Harris has been on like a 10-game win streak on 2K. So so the Sixers, we're still rolling. Just remember.
Shout out to Tobias.
Yo, I think like 2 weeks ago, they were like every day they were showing a simulation of whatever your sports team was, the NBA on like Comcast in New York was probably showing like a simulation on 2K of the Nets versus whoever they were playing that day in real life.
They need to.
Yeah. So maybe they should just kind of do that and just roll with that.
They should do that. They should do that until they actually play. And if it comes playoff time, then we have the seeding. Like, all right, that's where you would have been.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about that, but I mean, that would be pretty funny if they did it.
If there was a simulation game on TV right now, I would actually watch it like it was a real game. I'm that desperate.
I did. It actually wasn't that bad.
Anything's good at this point.
It wasn't that bad, man. Like when you're playing 2K, it looks like a video game, but when you're sitting back, like eating a nacho, and you're looking at the TV, it's just like, yo, this is almost real. It's almost real, man.
The desperate times, man.
Yeah.
Like I would take baseball at this point.
I know, and that's saying a lot for you.
Damn, baseball.
Do you even know what a baseball is, or like, do you know that they throw it to the home plate, or do you call it like?
I know how baseball is. I'm a Braves fan, but like at this point, the sports world, literally, I wake up in the morning and watch Chinese basketball.
How do you get that? You get it on your Snap stream?
It's on FSN1.
I might just check that out.
Yeah, but see, and that's the thing. Like I'm watching it, and it's really weird seeing how this has changed the sports world because one of them that I was watching, they were in like a closed gym area, and they had a net surrounding the court where the players were, and like the water boy or whoever, if you wanted to give something to a player, you had to give it to him through the net.
Yeah.
And I'm just like that.
Easy, right?
There was no fans. There was barely anybody in the building. It was just like the teams. They all had to get tested before they played.
If anything, that gives you blueprint for what might have to happen for the NBA. Maybe Adam Silver's looking at that like, okay, these are things that we want to have in place along with other parameters to kind of get this thing rolling again. You know?
Yeah, man.
I'll be down with it. I just want to see him play, man.
I mean, I just feel like football itself has a better shot at that because there is distance between the players and the field.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Like baseball, there's a little bit of distance, but like, come on, you saw it, basketball season, we're right up there with the players.
Yeah. It'll be tough to kind of take account for.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, I want to see it happen again, but yo, let's on another session. Let's talk more about that, so we don't use up all our. We don't have no sports going on, so it's not using up all our material in one show.
Yeah.
I want to hop right back to the draft, and I want to go to your second round draft pick, Chris, and that was a guy that I wanted the Eagles to get. Another guy, Brandon Ayuk from Arizona
You
State.
really mad about the Eagles not getting anybody?
Yo, because you dudes had no third round pick, no fourth round pick, but your first round was bananas. Dude,
Okay.
you got Ayuk in the second round at wide receiver, then you had Kinlaw in the first round. It's a hell of a draft right there already. Because this dude, I'm telling you, this dude he could have been there at the end of the first round. They say here he could have been there at 31. I think he could have been there at like 26, 27. That guy is really good. And he brings you something in the return game as well. So I think you guys have kept yourselves in pole position, so to speak, because, you know, you guys got the Rams there. You guys got the Cardinals, who are getting a little bit better. Than you have, who's the other team in the West? The Seahawks, obviously. So I think that this really helped you improve in areas you need it, because Emmanuel Sanders, I think he's going, right?
I think he's going.
Yeah, so Ayuk, he immediately is the replacement for that, and that was an excellent pick there.
But even if he's not, you know what I mean? It's a perfect person to learn under.
Exactly.
Now that the draft's over, what do you think happens with Cam Newton?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Because I mean, I figured maybe some teams were waiting, like, okay, who do we get? What happens in the draft? You know what I mean? But now the draft is over.
I think this is just a unique time for free agents. I feel as though if you didn't get signed before March 15th, then you know, when things started really going into lockdown mode, then you really kind of got caught out to dry, so to speak, because now you can't go in to do one-on-one meetings and workouts and do your health checkup, and teams can't assess where you're at. So like Cam Newton, like he still doesn't have a team. There are quarterback needy teams. Jadeveon Clowney's still sitting out there. He's still out there. You know what I mean? Like if he was signed earlier, then he wouldn't be where he's at right now.
You wouldn't take a chance on him?
I would, but not for $20 million a year.
I mean, because like think about it. If things do open up, you know he's gonna be one of the first people on that list. Like, yo, we got to get you in ASAP.
He priced himself out right now, so he's lower. The reports are that he's lowered his asking price, but he rejected a $17.5 million a year deal from, I think, the Dolphins, and then an $18 million a year deal from the Seahawks. And then the Browns were just like, forget that. And then he just kind of priced himself out. So now I guess he's lowering the price back down because he kind of has to.
Yeah.
You think the Patriots could end up with him?
I don't see why not.
Yeah, I was just about to say that too. I was like, you see who the Patriots snatched up in the draft at quarterback?
I don't know. I don't care enough to talk about this episode because I hate them.
but that's the thing. Like the Patriots really didn't get. I mean, could they know that they're going to go after him? That's why I was bringing it up, because like you really don't go after a major quarterback. You know what I mean? Like you lose time. Like that's the one glaring team I see that like you need somebody.
So are you referring to maybe them trying to get Jalen Hurts?
Nah, I'm talking about them trying to get what's it called? Cam Newton.
Oh, true. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the hell their plan is at quarterback. I wouldn't be surprised if they were holding out for Deshaun Watson next year in free agency.
Ooh,
there's no way the hell he's staying in Houston.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking about that.
That's interesting. Yeah.
There was some talk about that before, back in like February. And they were talking about, is Brady going to be back, or what happens if Deshaun Watkins goes there, because he's not staying there with O'Brien. That's kind of, I think, between him and Cam Newton, maybe that might be on the radar. I just say, we just going to sit out this year. We're gonna get like a veteran, like a stopgap guy. They might not want to pay Cam, and then they'll wait till next year's free agency. But now it's so uncertain because you don't know if with this whole situation with the bug, like how things are going to play out. Like if you don't stay on the guy now, will you ever get somebody? Like
It's a good question.
you don't even know if we're going to have college football. So like you might, if you didn't get a quarterback this year, you might be asked out next year.
Yeah, it's definitely for the Patriots, it's a concern because like who on the roster right now is their quarterback, like their starter?
I don't. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
Is it Brian?
Like they said in Office Space, like nah, not gonna be here much longer.
Well, Tom Brady's trying to turn to. He tried to put a trademark on. This dude walked into the wrong house down in Florida.
Oh yeah, I heard
Okay.
about that. Like, how do you? Imagine like if he walked from a fan standpoint of view, I'd be like, what the hell? But then you gotta think about the reality that like you don't know it's Tom Brady. What if
Yeah.
he had got shot?
That's crazy. I didn't even think about that.
Like no, think about it. Like if somebody walked in your house, you legitimately wouldn't think it's like, Tom Brady's not like Joel Embiid, like you know what I mean? Some 7'1" person coming out, you're like, oh shit, it's Joel Embiid. Tom Brady's a normal, average-looking dude.
I don't know, man.
You know what I mean? So he walked. Yeah, they said he walked in his house and was like, "Hey, what's going on?" and just dropped his bags. like,
This
and
is
the guy
not
was
a
like,
good start for Tampa Bay. It's dementia kicking in already, man.
"Well,
Yeah.
who was it? Oh my God, he lived right next to. Oh my God, I can't even think of who it was. It was somebody that played for Tampa Bay. Lived like right next door. And you know what I mean?
So first he's forgetting where he lives. Then he's gonna be forgetting the plays. Then he's gonna
Well, no,
forget how to
he
get to the
was staying,
stadium.
he was staying with somebody who played for the Tampa for the Buccaneers.
Yeah, I get it. And he probably walked to the wrong house.
Yeah, he walked. But I'm thinking like, what if
Come
he had
on,
walked in? What if he had walked in and like the guy was just pulled the trigger like right there, like, yo, what are you doing in my crib?
Weird stuff happens in Florida, so I wouldn't put nothing past nobody.
Yeah, me either.
Look, the guy his face ate off for all I know, man.
You know? Tom Brady walks in wrong house, gets shot. You know that.
Like where was he at? Florida makes sense.
Makes perfect sense.
I think it's the fact that he moved down to Florida that it's throwing his perception of like reality off because you can't be in your right mind when you live in Florida. So everything he did normal in Boston, he's going to do exact opposite down in Florida.
Well, you two are the football guys, obviously.
Mm.
What does Tampa Bay do now?
I mean,
Because now you got Tom Brady,
Mm-hmm.
and it seems like they're trying to get everybody from the Patriots. Like that puts you in total win mode now, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
yeah, definitely.
What do you think their odds are of actually pulling it off, though?
They had some really good odds. I mean, it was just Gronk and Brady up in Boston a couple years ago, and they were making noise. Now you have freaking Chris Godwin and Mike Evans, and then you have Cameron Brate at the other tight end position.
OJ Howard.
You have OJ Howard. You have an embarrassment of riches on offense with Tom Brady. They're gonna be rough, dog. They're gonna
Yeah,
be
that's good.
You even know it takes time to. I would say it takes like a good year for a quarterback to get in the system, and I'm not saying he's gonna lose, but you know what I mean, like to actually be comfortable. Like I feel like it has to be at least a 2-year thing. Do you think Brady and Gronk have 2 years?
Yeah. I don't think it takes a 2-year thing. I think that Tom Brady if we were talking about Tom Brady at 31 or 30, maybe we could say he's more a product of the system with Charlie Weiss. And if you take him out of that system, he's going to need an adjustment period going to a new team. But at this point, I think he's like Peyton Manning going to the Broncos. Like, he is the offense. Like, you follow me.
So you think they could actually go to the Super Bowl in year one?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
it reminds me of two situations. It reminds me of Peyton Manning going to the Broncos with Demaryius Thomas, and it didn't matter who was on the offense. You got Peyton Manning there; he's going to take you on his shoulders. A dude that. Oh, and then the other situation reminds me of is Donovan McNabb. Same team, I get it, but T.O. They barely had like 2 weeks in the offseason to work out together, and first play in the preseason is an 81-yard touchdown. Like I feel like Gronk and Mike Evans, Godwin, they're gonna click with Brady. He
Oh
gonna
yeah.
put that work. And if they don't, it don't matter because him and Gronk, they're like yin and yang already. Everybody else can just fall in line. They're gonna put yards just with them two alone. And then once everybody else gets up to speed, the Saints gonna have their hands full, all they can handle in that division with them.
Yeah, they're
All they can handle.
Mike Evans is definitely going to have an over 1,000-yard season for sure. I can see it.
Hey, you see what he did with Randy Moss. Now, I'm not saying Randy Moss, but like Gronk is the Randy Moss right now for Brady. Like you bring him back, it's just like they're gonna roll.
Yeah, it got chemistry.
Yeah. So right now, like I feel as though the Buccaneers, the 49ers, those are the two that stick out to me a lot. Obviously, the Chiefs. Those are the three teams right now that really stick out to me in terms of really having most of their pieces in place. Because I don't think Tampa Bay has a great defense or anything like that, but they're good enough. They're way better than what the hell the Patriots had when they were facing us. I can tell you that for sure.
What do you?
And then you have an offense like they have now. They're right up there.
What do you take from the Packers? Because that was kind of interesting what they did during the draft.
Did they even get a receiver?
They got the quarterback, Jalen.
They got the quarterback.
Mm.
Like, why would you get a quarterback when you could have easily got a receiver, but you got a quarterback?
Do you think Matt LaFleur is making a power play with Aaron Rodgers? Like, all right, we know that you're the sheriff in town, but I had enough of bucking heads with you last year.
I think it's a real possibility.
Let's face it. I mean, Matt LaFleur might be here for another 2 years, and maybe he wants to get his guy in there now and groom him and say that, okay, if I lost, it's because Aaron Rodgers couldn't get it done, but I brought in my guy. Give me a little more time. You know what I mean? So, I don't know.
Yeah, it's really possible. Tony.
I think Aaron Rodgers is still the guy, but it was a clear message.
Yeah, definitely a clear message.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I still don't think that if they ever meet the 49ers in the NFC Championship game again, it's still a mismatch. They're not a Super Bowl caliber team, in my opinion. But
honestly, I don't see nobody messing with us.
I think that the Buccaneers, the Buccaneers, the Eagles, and the Cowboys are the main. Buccaneers are so outside of you guys, Buccaneers, Seahawks, and then that next tier is the Eagles and Cowboys. Those, because I look at the Buccaneers, they're going to be deadly this year. The who else did I just say? Freaking the Seahawks. They could have beat you both games last year. You guys were evenly matched. It was just a coin toss. And depending on if they bring back Clowney or not, I think that's going to determine how competitive they are with you guys because they might bring him back. And a healthy Clowney could have made the difference in either one of those games. And then you look at the Cowboys. The Cowboys with CeeDee Lamb, the Eagles. Whoever comes out the NFC East between the Cowboys and the Eagles is going to be really tough because the Cowboys, that receiving game is going to be lights out to go along with Zeke. And then the Eagles with a healthy Deshaun Jackson and then the Rager. You see what they did in week 1 to the Redskins. It was like they didn't even belong on the field with us. They really didn't. Like Deshaun Jackson had like 2 or 3 deep bombs. Like he was unstoppable. And if he was in that playoff game against the Seahawks, that changed everything. Hell, we might not even be in the wild card game. We might be in a divisional game if Deshaun was healthy for at least like 2 games.
Mm.
Oh yeah.
I still think that the 49ers were top dog right now, but I think it's going to be a much more competitive playoff race this time around because some of the other teams got stronger.
I agree.
What's your thoughts on that, Chris?
I agree.
I think that your draft was I think it was one of the top 3 drafts out of every team.
I mean, I feel like we make the best moves right now. I don't know what happened, but ever since like the last couple of years, we've been making some really good moves.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been solid.
I mean, you guys, I like what you guys have done. So we'll see how it plays out. That's kind of all I had for my topics. Any other things that you guys had on your mind that you wanted to throw out there?
One thing I wanted to talk about, because we talked about it yesterday a little bit, was the G League.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, with the signing high school players now.
yeah. I'm wondering, what do you think about how you think that's going to affect like college?
I think it's a great thing because it'll pressure the NCAA to actually pay their players now.
True.
I think it's awesome because they should get paid. They already ripped these kids off, making merchandise sales and God knows what else off of their name and jerseys and whatnot. So now you're going to have the G League signing high school players because they can't go to the league yet anyway.
No.
So this is the way for them to get their foot in the door and really, let's say you really like a team, right? Let's say you grew up a Nets fan and you're like, I really want to play for the Nets. And let's say you weren't good enough coming out of high school, but you could have, let's go to the G League. I ball out and all of a sudden, oh, the Nets got a hard on for me now. They can't do without me, right? That's a very
I think.
Yeah.
Huh?
No, go ahead.
No, I think it changes a lot with because from what I'm hearing, these players that come out of high school get signed with the team that they want. So like you said, like, oh, I've always liked the Hawks growing up. Yo, like, look at my high school, like y'all need to sign me to the G League.
Mm-hmm.
I
think it's yeah. That's similar to like the way that unrestricted undrafted free agents in the NFL kind of end up. Like, let's say a guy went through the whole draft on last Thursday, didn't make a team. Let's say he had like a 6th round grade. Instead of getting drafted in the 6th round and going somewhere he don't want to go and get underpaid, he can go be the free agency and pick the team he want to go to.
Yeah.
That's the same thing that the G League is doing right now, and I think it's an awesome thing.
I think what they said, they're offering the one kid $300,000 to play this year. I think them stands might actually be filled up this year.
You know how it was when we went there when, I don't know, Taco Fall was playing and how the seats immediately filled up?
I don't know. I remember when Taco was playing, when Giannis's brother was playing. Like, when there's a major name, them seats are packed.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Delaware needs to go after like one of the best players in Philly. Like, go scout them high schools and grab that one person. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now, imagine if this was like back in the day and Sebastian Telfair was just finishing up high school and he went to a G League team. You think the stadiums would be sold the hell out every night he's playing?
Yeah. Imagine if he goes to the Knicks G League team. Because think about it, he could choose.
Yeah.
Or he goes to Brooklyn. Oh, well, you can't see him in the NBA. Come see him here.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if I'm trying to think. Imagine if like LeBron went to the G League instead of you know what I mean? Like imagine if Zion came to the G League and like, oh, don't go to Duke, come to the G League for a year.
Mm-hmm.
I think we did a good thing last year getting in when we did.
We definitely did. I learned a lot about the G League, and It was just like a lot more fun than what I remember, like the D League being. Like, not that I ever went to a game, but it just seems like they have more direction now.
Yeah, I was watching videos of the D League, and it seemed like it was just for players that have no hope.
Hmm.
But I think like this whole high school thing makes it where like it makes it so people want to go.
Yeah, I think it's a good move. And when things start back up in October, hopefully, then that's going to allow the G League to really like take off running. Honestly,
I mean, if I was them, I would sign like maybe the top 30 players in high school.
hmm
Stick one on each team.
yeah, I agree. I think what we could do is next time I do my next episode, uh, just like pick out maybe one or two high school players that really stand out to you, and we can like kind of talk about them,
Okay,
and like maybe even speculate on what team they may be going to.
okay, we could do that.
All right? I think I might try to do another episode, maybe like either Saturday or Sunday. Talk a little bit more about the draft, the later rounds, and then talk about the G League and whatever NBA news is going on.
You know what
Yeah.
you think of? Have y'all two watched the Last Dance?
Nah.
Nah, I haven't checked that out. I've been wanting to watch it, but I haven't.
Oh wow.
What do you think about Jordan running that 4.38 at UNC?
It's impressive.
And then what was it? I was looking at Roast Me. I don't know if you look at all that Def Digital, but that's a funny ass show, man. You should check that out. But they was talking about they were saying something about like, yeah, I was watching the documentary, and then as soon as they talked about Dennis Rodman sitting on Phil Jackson's lap in this film session, I just turned that shit off. That sounds like some Dennis Rodman shit, man.
It really does.
They're exposing everything that went wrong with the Bulls.
I didn't know Dennis Rodman had 8 gay brothers either.
Had what?
8 gay brothers. I don't know if Craig Schmidt was being serious when he said that, but that's something that he mentioned in the podcast episode. So there was like, okay, it's not surprising that he was kind of like more eccentric and out there like with his flair and whatnot.
I never heard that.
I never heard that neither.
I never heard that.
But I don't know if that's true or not. But what I know that Craig mentioned was that they were talking about whatever film session, and freaking Dennis Rodman like sitting on Phil Jackson's knee or something while he's like flicking through film footage. It's just like, yo, I was done after that point.
Nah, it's actually it's good, but it's stirring up a lot of controversy because this past week they said like they were talking about Rodman took a vacation.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Like we talk about players like now taking breaks. He literally went off for 2 weeks. Like he went to Vegas for 2 weeks. They was like, yo, you got 24 hours, do whatever you want. And he went for 2 weeks. Like Michael Jordan, they said literally Jordan had to go fly in, go to the door, knock on the door, and drag him back to practice.
That's whoo.
That's interesting.
I mean, I'm not knocking it because he was in the room with Carmen Electra.
That sounds like
Ah,
you don't make Johnny Manziel seem that bad now. It's like Johnny Manziel, the whole Vegas thing and like missing the game because he was so trashed that he couldn't make it back to Cleveland.
like, you know, like if you're a player and you hear something like that, like, yo, like Dennis Rodman went on a 2-week vacation in the middle of the season.
Insane, man.
That's
Yeah,
wild.
It was just funny because they had Carmen Electra on and she was exposed and she's like, yeah, we were in the gym in the facility and we had sex like everywhere in the facility. I'm like, yo, like she really going out. Like, yeah, we did it in the training room. Then we went to the weight room. Then we went to we had sex on the court. I'm like, yo, you really talking about this?
That is wild.
You know, like how short these guys' careers would be if they played now as opposed to like 1994. Like with social media, they would got massacred, man.
That's insane.
Camera phones everywhere, man. You can't take a shit without somebody knowing what you're doing.
No, man.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of what ruins sports.
Yeah, I agree.
Because now we know so much about a player that that we didn't know. Like, oh well, there's no footage of like Johnny Unitas, so we can't fairly judge him. You know what I mean? Like, I'm realizing like that it hurts that, but then it also makes the players seem better. We can make a player seem better if we want to.
True.
Oh well, look at Tom Brady's best plays. Look how great he is.
That's very true.
Very true.
Do you think that Antonio Brown would have gotten into as much trouble if he was in the era where there was still everything going by mail and
No.
Tony?
No,
No.
no, because think about it. Like they were saying, like in the documentary, for instance, they were saying like players were on drugs. Like it wasn't so social. There wasn't a camera on you to watch every move you make. Think about it. Do you think Antonio Brown would have done all that shit if nobody was watching?
Oh, yeah,
Do
exactly.
you think Terrell Owens would have done all them push-ups in front of his house if nobody was watching?
No.
No.
You get what I'm saying?
You know, like Rodman, like the parallel I think of when I think of Dennis Rodman is probably like Lawrence Taylor,
Yeah.
the NFL.
Yeah.
Like, it's completely off the train rails.
Oh yeah.
Like you got like Dennis Rodman going out to Vegas and like doing God knows what for like weeks at a time. And then you got Lawrence Taylor like doing cocaine before a game. It's like there was like no limits on what you could do in the 80s.
But there was also no social media, and there was not
Exactly.
there was nobody with a camera phone like yo, I just delivered to Lawrence Taylor.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it was just like, all right, cool. You had to really be dumb to get caught. Like I remember back in that '98 season, nobody knew Dennis Rodman was in Vegas partying.
Yeah, not at all.
I mean, and how many people, how many other athletes might have been? You know what I mean? Think about it. They said like the Cowboys in the '80s and '90s were always in strip clubs. They legitimately said like they were in strip clubs. They were always doing coke, but nobody knew because there was nobody in the corner taking a camera and saying, "Oh, look, there goes that's getting high."
I guess like people knew to a certain extent, but like unless you're like reading the paper on like the 5th page of the sports section, like you're not going to find it. As opposed to on your phone, like, oh, update, alert.
Yeah, there was no evidence of it happening. You had feelings. You had a general idea, like,
Yeah.
but there was no evidence.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So, you know, technology changed things for the better and for the worse in certain areas. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's actually now that you bring it up. Next time we have when's the next episode of that series? Of the Jordan series. When's the next episode of the Jordan series? Is it every Sunday? Or
Sundays.
Sundays?
Yeah.
All right, so how about we reconvene on Monday and talk about whatever other foolery happens on Sunday's episode as well.
Yeah, I'll tune in.
Say that again, Matt. You breaking up? I mean, Chris.
I'm with it. Let's go.
Yeah,
we about to bring the podcast back. We got a lot of good things coming up.
Yeah. So this go around, I'm recording this. This isn't live. I'm just going to post the video up. But the next video, I'll do it on my phone, and as long as we don't have any technical difficulties, I'll just live stream it to Facebook.
All right, let's go.
All right.
Let's have some fun with it.
Yeah, I'm down.
All right. Well, I think that's it for today. Thank you guys, for coming in.
Definitely appreciate you having me on.
No doubt, no doubt. As always, I'm Jen the God. Go ahead and there you go.
Chris the Casual Admin.
Ryan from Sportscast.
All right. And that's it, man. Go Birds. I guess go 49ers.
I guess.
All right, man. I'm out.
All right,
Be
peace.
safe.